If you're spending over £2,000 per month on ads, but your calendar is only still half booked, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can fix it in the next 48 hours. Give me about, 6 minutes, because I want to share with you a three-step framework that's really simple that will actually stop your ads from attracting time wasters and actually start building what we call an invisible list of 350 to 500 quality leads every single week. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tina from tinasandford.com. Now, since 2019, I've been working with online businesses and helping them to revive cold lead lists and transform their underperforming funnels and turn them into high converting assets without having to start again from scratch or overhauling their entire system. And also in every video right now, you're going to get a strategy or a tactic that you can immediately implement after watching my video. Now, right now, though, I want to share a problem that most people don't realize that they even have. When you run ads with generic content, Facebook just shows them to anybody who might click on them. And I've got to tell you, clicks are cheap when you're attracting time wasters, content scrollers, and people who will never buy from you. And what actually happens is you end up with targeting lists full of people who don't care about your offer, your service, or anything to do with you, really. But your cost per lead looks fine. Maybe it's £3, £4, £5. But you'll find when you track those leads all the way through to booked calls, only about 2 to 3% actually get on the phone with you. And most of them won't even buy anyway. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'll think about that later. That means for you that every 100 leads that you pay for, at least 97% of them are dead weight in your funnel. What a waste of money. What I'm seeing that most people are doing is they're hiring ad agencies right now who tell them to spend more or to target better interests. Okay, but here's the problem with that approach. Facebook's Andromeda update changed the whole game completely last year. And it's just that the algorithm does not care about your targeting anymore. What it's looking for is behavior. So you can imagine if your content is attracting the wrong types of people because you're optimizing it for just clicks, Facebook is going to just keep finding more of those types of people for you. And then you might be trying to optimize later by adding in filters on your landing pages or on your applications like you used to. But you got to think about this. It's just mean that you've already paid to attract the leads that you're now rejecting. That's just backwards, isn't it? So basically you're spending money to build an audience that you cannot convert. So here's exactly what you need to do instead. Step one, and this is really important, you want to make your content polarizing from the first second. What does that mean? It means that your first line, your hook, your headline, it actually needs to filter people out because you want the wrong people to scroll past, but you want the right people to stop and think, they're talking to me. That's me. That's my problem. So I want to share with you how you can do this practically. The best thing you could probably do right now is go through your last, I'm going to say at least 10 sales calls. And I want you to write down the exact phrases that your ideal clients use to describe their problems, not the ones who didn't buy, okay? The ones that actually, they actually made the sale on and they were good clients. I don't want how you would describe their problems. I want to see, you want to do it how they describe their problems. You want to speak in their language. So let me give you an example. Instead of saying struggling with lead generation, they might say that I cannot tell what part of my marketing is working and what part is leaking leads or what part is not working. Most people usually say, I don't know what's working right now, but I'm doing this. Now, the second phrase is really important too. It's what we call the dog whistle. It's a dog whistle problem. And the reason we do that is because only your ideal clients will recognize it and they will feel seen by it too. It stands out to them. They know it's for them. And then everybody else will just scroll right past because it's not for them. It doesn't resonate with them. Can you imagine what happens if you take those two exact phrases together and then you use them in the first 3 seconds of your video ads? That's your hook, that's your filter, and then you're calling out people, okay? Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to build your content around the dog whistle problems. Don't use surface level frustrations. Anybody can do that. And everyone keeps talking about pain points right now. But this is not about pain points, because you can make anybody stop. Anybody will come in. But it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Yes, you want volume. You want the volume of the right people coming to you. You've got to remember that Facebook's optimizing right now. They're optimizing for things that people are clicking on. So you've got to get the right people clicking. So things like surface level problems like, I want to lose weight, or I want to be able to fit into the black dress to go to the party, or I want more clients. That's so generic. I need more leads. Everybody says that. You know that. It's generic. And that attracts everybody. Yeah? Now, dog whistle problems are very specific frustrations that only your ideal clients experience at the stage of business that they're in. Okay? So it's what they are experiencing right now, and it's something that you can help them with. And these are the people you know that you can help and you want to work with. For example, if the minimum requirement that your client needs is to, let's say, already be running ads, then your dog whistle problem might be your webinar funnel stopped working and you don't know if it's the ad, the landing page, or the pitch. Okay? Now, for somebody who's never run ads, they're not going to understand even what that means. They're just going to scroll right past. But can you imagine somebody who's running a current webinar funnel currently, that's going to speak to them if they're having problems. It's going to stop them immediately in their tracks because you just named their exact situation. So I want you to be able to identify your dog whistle problems. Now, if you're working with Laurel Porter, you're going to have something called a content Bible. And this will be problems that you've already identified from your sales calls. And with that, you can identify the specific challenges that your client faces at each milestone of working with you. Not before they work with you. Okay? During the process. Now, those milestone-specific problems become your dog whistle topics. They become your content topics. And when you actually create content around those problems, you automatically filter out for those people who already act like what we call your floor. They're your minimum. They've got the minimum requirements for being your ideal client. Now, step 3, you actually want to track your 25% viewers, at least 25% viewers. And with those, you're going to build your invisible list. Why would you want to do that? Well, we find that every person who watches past 25% of your video ads gets added to what we call an invisible list. That's just, at least if you're doing like Laurel's power content, okay, between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, but this becomes your retargeting audience. And you want this because it means that you can track them. It means that they've already spent time with you. You already know that they want what you've got. And that was because your content was polarizing and it was all built around your dog whistle problems. And what happens is that audience, that list is now filled with quality leads who already resonate with how you think and what you're standing for. How do you set this up? Okay, right. Here's how you set this up in your ads manager. You want to go to audiences and you want to create a custom audience. Then you want to choose video as your source. And then you're going to select people who watch at least 25% of your video. And then I would just name this audience invisible list and then dash 25% viewers. Now, you need to set the retention window to 365 days so that you're actually building a growing asset over time. And then every video ad you run now automatically feeds this audience. So can you imagine that you've already filtered them out from an audience of people from whoever's watching on the internet. And now you've just got a group of people who actually want more of the information about what you've got. So you can retarget this audience with your offer ads, your case studies, your testimonials, more educational content, your podcasts, all these different things that you've got. And it just builds trust, builds actually certainty, clarity, and trust. If these are the people who already demonstrated interest by investing time in your content. And can you imagine if they keep seeing you in their feed? Lots of different types of content. They'll actually convert at 5 to 7% instead of 2 to 3% because they're not cold leads. Yeah, they're warm, they're qualified, and they're already pre-sold on your methodology because they've been watching. And this is how you should build an audience of 350 to 500 leads every single week without wasting money on people who are never going to buy anyway. So can you imagine? You're no longer paying to attract everybody. You're actually paying to filter out the right people. And you feel bringing the right people in, and the wrong people are getting pushed out even before they get in. Can you imagine over time? What happens is your cost per quality lead drops, and then all your competition, they're spending more and more. They're spending thousands building audiences, but even worse, audiences they can't even convert because they've gone so broad. Now, the reason this works so well is simple. When you optimize for quality instead of volume, what happens right now is Facebook's algorithm learns who your real buyers are, not who clicks, not who downloads freebies, but who actually books in calls and becomes your client. And the algorithm gets better at finding those people over time the more you do this. And what will happen is your hook rate will improve, so bring more people in. Your 25% video view rate improves because you've got a lot more people coming through. And your cost per quality lead decreases. And then your calendar starts filling with people who you'd actually want to work with. Can you imagine that? Now, if you are ready to stop wasting ad spend on the wrong people, and you want some help implementing this system properly, we actually run this exact strategy for our own clients inside our Double Ads ecosystem. And we handle the power content creation, the ad setup, the invisible list building, and all the retargeting that turns those quality leads into booked calls. So if you are currently spending over £2,000 or more per month on ads, and you want a system that actually builds a predictable kind of pipeline instead of just getting random generating leads and calls with people who don't want what you've got anyway, just send me a message with the word ecosystem. And we can have a quick chat about whether this is the right fit for your business, because this isn't for everybody. And we do only work with established coaches and service providers who are already past that kind of early hustle phase, but they're ready for that kind of calm, predictable growth now. But if that's you, let's have a chat.